you know, to be honest with you, calling a spade, we wouldn't release that normally. That he would definitely be out, but it was released by in a scenario. I didn't realise that. Like, it just came in here that it had been released, but certainly he he has a foot injury and he's struggling. You know, he's out. Yeah.
Okay. Just we had Darrell Shea in earlier, just in terms of the other day and the team selection that you made. I think you spoke about Kieran Clark giving left side balance. I could be wrong, but I mean, if it was a choice between Dara and Shane Duffy, what were the factors that swung you towards Dara in that sort of equation?
Yeah, I don't think it's just a straight up between Dara and Shane, but Dara's been playing every week for West Brom at centre back. I went to see Dara play against, twice within a week against Everton, where he marked Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and he did brilliantly. I thought he was outstanding in that game at centre back, and also he played against Newcastle and gave a very composed display. So I think he's come on an awful lot. He's a gradual improver all his career. Rather than being a player who's been a standout 15 or 16-year-old, he's someone who's just got gradually better every year and shown a brilliant attitude. And I think, so he's been playing regularly in the Premier League. He's very composed in possession, and he has sort of an all-round qualities in that. He's quite aggressive as well, and he's not 6'3" or 6'4", so he's not the biggest centre half, but he still competes very well for aerial challenges, for aerial duels. He competes very well, so and does quite well. Shane, to be fair, on the other hand, has been an exceptional player for Ireland, and has captained the team under Mick McCarthy initially and under myself, and he's been a great player for Ireland. Just hasn't played, been out of the team at Celtic for a long period, and that's never easy. And so those are some of the factors.
Neil O'Riordan, please.
Hi, Steve. I appreciate that you're saying you Luxembourg aren't maybe the team they were previously, but I think I've still only won more than one game in a qualifying campaign. Once under the lowest ranked side you've faced so far. Does this offer a real kind of opportunity to make a statement of intent in terms of what the team wants to do? And you get yourselves into a good position in the game to really kind of kick on and show what you can.
Yeah, but we have to earn the right to win. I think it is a game that we, huge desire to win, of course, and I think really the two qualify overall. I'm disappointed as a manager that we haven't won, but won games. Of course I am, but I think overall our two performances in the qualifiers, either European Championship qualifier and our playoff in Slovakia and the World Cup qualifier in Serbia, are two really exceptional performances against good teams away from home. We'd over 50% possession in the second half there against Serbia the other night, and we played very, very well and played completely differently than Irish teams would have in the last decade, really, away from home against good nations. And we controlled a lot of the games in both games, and we drew 0-0 obviously and lost 3-2. So what we have to try and do is turn them performances, just make them winning performances. We don't want plaudits for losing games. Like we have to turn those performances into wins. And Luxembourg obviously watched a lot of their games. Obviously they beat Cyprus, beat Montenegro and all in the Nations League. They've had a lot of good results. They've done very well, and they're quite actually in a previous era that Luxembourg maybe sat deep, and that they're quite an expansive team. Like they actually play 4-3-3, and they make the pitch big and really try and play. So I'm expecting quite an open game tomorrow, and it should be quite open really overall. I feel.
I think you're going to mid-30s now, the number of players you've used in 10 games, obviously being exceptional circumstances, which means that's probably higher than you would have envisaged. Do you need things to calm down a little in terms of get a bit of continuity in the side, or insofar as they can force that?
Yeah, I think. We have introduced a lot of players in. Obviously, there's two objectives. Obviously, one was the European Championship playoff. With quite an experienced team in the team, and then the game the other night. Obviously, with some players missing, but we've introduced a lot of players. Obviously, 13. We've spoken about 13 players in this squad have come through international teams in the last few seasons, and have made a step up to be seen in the senior international squad at least. And some of the players have excelled really well, and hopefully they can do that tomorrow against Luxembourg. Some players haven't been selected to start, as was mentioned, Jason Knight, for example, and he's one of a few who are well capable of coming in and doing well.
Brendan, please.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Brendan.
I'd just like to ask you about James Clean's condition, and also a player like James. When you look at trying to set a tempo from the start of a game, very few that can replicate that intensity that James gives. Maybe just elaborate a wee bit on his condition and what he brings to a game in terms of setting a high tempo, trying to unnerve Luxembourg from the first minute.
Yeah, James. James is a very, very proud Irishman, of course, and the dilemma was he hadn't played for Stoke for a period there for quite a number of weeks. Stoke weren't overly keen on him joining up because they didn't feel he was match fit, which is fair enough. And he hadn't done that much training, but he's such a dedicated individual that he kept himself in impeccable condition. But you can't really replicate training. Obviously, our matches, and just come into an international match having not done anything, at all. So it's hard to do that. So when he came on the other night, I thought he looked sharp when he came on, and he looks light. He looks light in his feet, and not that training's been that extensive because of the time constraints and the close proximity of the matches and so forth. But he has trained well, and is certainly putting himself in contention.
Paul Lennon, please.
Thanks.
Hello, Stephen. Thanks, Kieran.
Hi, Paul.
A very good performance in spells tonight, Stephen. But still, that elusive win awaits you in the team. Do you feel under any pressure? Does the team feel under any pressure to deliver it now against the team who would be expected to beat?
Yeah, I can see why you would think that, Paul, and it's a fair question. I think, but if you're in the hotel now or on the training ground now, you wouldn't feel that from the team, because they actually sort of, and I know I mentioned already the whole COVID situation in the other camps, but it's completely obviously this. We've had three tests because the previous camps we had a test. Everyone came through it. We think we're fine, and then you're asymptomatic, and then it happens on your second test. And we've had 3 tests now. So I think that's been a big help really, and I think just the players are in really good form. They know they played really well the other night, and disappointed to lose, but they know you can't dwell on that, and it's been very buoyant around the place and training today. The players are in really good spirits and anxious to do well, and I think they seem quite relaxed, and I really feel we're in a much better sort of place than we were in November, for example, coming into that last Bulgaria game when there's been a lot of tension and a lot of players and so forth. So I think they were very good against Serbia tonight. Players are feeling confident, and now they want to take that into the game against Luxembourg, which all the games with Luxembourg, even in their Euro qualifiers, they were in a tough group last year with Portugal and Serbia and the Ukraine. And the Ukraine won that group actually, but the Ukraine only beat Luxembourg 1-0, and twice. So Serbia close games, so Luxembourg have had, I'm not trying to talk them up, I wouldn't have been as aware until they were drawn in our group, and then you go and look at them that they've actually had a lot of good results, better than I would have expected. So we'll have to go, but we're well capable of winning. If we play to our full potential, we're capable of winning, and we must go and take the confidence that we gained from the game against Serbia, take it into the game at home, and try and win the game and show our quality.
Just one more question, Stephen. Do you expect Aaron to be involved tomorrow, Aaron Connolly? And secondly, is there a role for Robbie Bate ready from the start, given that you expect a bit of open game from Luxembourg, that they may sit in at times that make it more difficult for you than some of the teams you've had so far?
Yeah, no, I see the one with Aaron. Aaron is obviously not going to play, but I think Robbie. Robbie was in sort of not hugely dissimilar situation, only slightly dissimilar to James McLean, in that Robbie's had an ongoing Achilles problem, and hasn't been training regularly at all with Burnley, and then was off for a few weeks again with it, was troubling him, and he came back and played 20 minutes and 2 25 minute cameos as a substitute recently. So he's not been playing regularly because of the Achilles injury. But to be honest with you, in the couple of days training, he's presented a lot better than I expected. He's presented really well. Looks he's trained very well today, and I didn't expect him to be at that level when I seen him. Because he is a player that sometimes needs to find a rhythm. When he wasn't playing and didn't have a rhythm in his play, he didn't look quite the same player. And all of a sudden, he got a good run of games after Christmas, which was great. It was the most he's played in 2 years, and in terms of consecutive games. And then just the Achilles injury struck him down and had him in and out. And then he had to get complete rest for a few weeks. And so he came on and had to come on against Everton, obviously recently, and in another game. And but it was only 2 20-minute matches. That was it, 2 20-minute. So he's certainly an option, and I really, when he's really fit, he genuinely does excite me. So you know, we'll have to when he's looking like the player we know he can be. He genuinely is. He genuinely is an exciting prospect. It's getting back to that level for himself. You know, that's it.
Okay, we haven't got long left, so but Philip Quinn and then Paul Doyle, and then we'll have to end it.
Thanks, Kieran. Stephen, you seem reluctant to sort of commit to tomorrow being a must-win game. So are you saying that if we don't win, we can still finish in the top two?
Well, it depends on your grasp of mathematics, like, but anything's possible. But I think it's important that we win the game. We want to win the game. I don't know what must win. What is that? Is it an adjective? What does must win mean? Like, I think it. We want to do well, and I think we're going to do. We're going to be very determined to win well, or to try and win the game. That's our objective. You know, I think the players, their attitude is exceptional. They've been, you know, played very well the other day. We're disappointed to lose, and we want to try and win the game against Luxembourg. We're going to try everything we can. You know, we'll all give everything all the players give everything of themselves to try and win the game tomorrow, and hopefully we can do that.
Thank you.
And then we'll end with Paul Doyle.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Paul.
Just a quick one. As good as the performance was the other night, I imagine that when you watched it back, you saw maybe some areas for improvement, either collectively or from particular individuals. So I was just wondering if you could give us some pointers as to specific things that you'll be looking for tomorrow for either the team or certain players to do better.
Yeah, no, I understand your question. You know, I don't think I can go into the sort of personal criticism of anyone. You know, I think in the press it probably wouldn't be. I think obviously we made, you know, we got punished for the second goal, which was a pivotal goal for us. I think maybe all three goals we can improve on. I suppose you could if you can say that about every goal nearly you concede, though. I think obviously they've three good centre forwards. Serbia, Vlahovic, obviously Mitrovic and Jovic. Vlahovic's goal is one that we probably could have prevented. And the third goal is just an exceptional header, really, by Mitrovic. He makes it look so easy, and we see him do it so often for Serbia. He seems to be a different player for Serbia, and you know, it was an exceptional header. And I suppose we were just out jumped in that regard, you know. But I felt our overall play was really, really good. The players, two midfield players, took the ball in tight areas all the time. The back three were all very comfortable in possession. We want to make sure you know that we moved the ball quickly against Luxembourg. That there's a level of speed in our play, whether that's dribbling or passing the ball. You know, we certainly want to. We don't want a slow build up. We want to have a level of speed in our play, and that so we can attack. And Luxembourg are quite an open team themselves, and they've caused teams problems, but also they give the nature of the way they're set up in a lot of their games. The games are quite open. Thank you.
Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for your
Thank you.
patience today, and sorry for the lateness of the